Okay, namaste, namaste, family of light. We are here together with our beautiful light workers who are on Zoom for the Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation. We are here on Facebook Live. We've started to redo that again. At one time, we did it on a regular basis. Then I had to stop because Facebook changed their procedure. But here we are doing it again, getting around anything and everything to continue to move forward. And also, too, we have our beautiful light workers that are here at the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light. Want to welcome everybody during this Mercury and retrograde period. Very, very interesting. I'm sure all of us have experienced some level of Mercury and retrograde, from little minor stuff or things that have come back into your life, or issues or situations that circle back around again. Whatever it is, we could always take the positive perspective of that. We have the choice to do that. But I did want to talk about something that's very relevant and very important right now. And that is uh, the events that are taking place now. And we don't have to go into what those events are. Everybody is aware of that. And then, we have a choice. We can fall into what I want to say, the fear vibration. Like, it's an energy, that says, oh my gosh, this may happen. And there's a possibility of this type of a timeline unfolding itself. Or we could choose not to do that. Now, not to say that we're blind or we have our head in the sand. I'm not saying that. We have to be aware, and not only aware by whatever sources we can find, understanding, okay, that propaganda has been around since the beginning of time. Why? Because you have different people who have different agendas that want to put forward. So, we go into this field of information, okay, with a level of not of ignorance, but of awareness. And just like anything else that you discern, you have to check and see, follow up, and make sure that is accurate. And you also have to go and trust your gut feeling on things too. Okay, so for example, on Facebook and on other social media platforms, they have the ability with AI to show a person, and they're talking. You see them moving their mouth, you see the person. It looks like the words that are saying from their mouth is what's being said. But now, with the level of sophistication, they could put language in there that that person never said. And that's why we really got to be careful now. There is a race for the consciousness, okay? How you are going to think and how you should think. This is a real thing. And there's different parties, there's different agendas that are taking place right now. And as I talked about last week, there is the convergence of various timelines. Various timelines can unfold right now. Okay, and it depends on the consciousness. And I would say the collective conscious, past, present, future. But guess who has the most profound conscious impact? We do, in the moment, in this eternal now. How we think. Everybody would listen to these words. Okay, right in this moment, you have such power to direct which timeline, okay, which trajectory we're going to do. So just as I talked about in the beginning, you may have a trajectory of your life. What about those individuals? I just read a beautiful story, or saw a story about an individual that was very limited. They were born into, a highly dysfunctional situation, but they always felt that they could do better or get out of their situation. Now, it's usually not the norm when somebody is like indoctrinated into a type of environment that is less than, say, other options that could be out there. But it is that self-determination of that person, or that person is saying, well, I'm going to learn, I'm going to understand, I'm going to get charge of my life. I'm going to move it in a direction, okay, that I want to do. And even though there are other things that impact us, not just that alone, or all of us would be in another level, of our choosing. but it absolutely does have impact. And you hear these stories where people have gotten out of situation and have been able to live a life that they have always dreamed of, or be able to achieve some goals that they have set forth. So if that is happening on this little level, what if a whole group of us got together, didn't fall into the program of fear, okay, didn't fall into the program of indoctrination? Now, I remember when I was a kid, long, 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 long time ago, okay, many decades ago, at the time, Russia was the threat of the United States. I was born in the Cold War, all right? And one of the things that they talked about in geography class, about Russia, was that the Soviet Union, it was really the Soviet Union at that time, was that all of their citizens, okay, is propaganda. It's all propaganda, all propaganda. I would say, oh my goodness, those poor people, they don't really know the truth. They're being influenced by the propaganda, only to come to find out that that wasn't limited to the Soviet Union. There's a level of propaganda depending on the agenda, okay, all around the world. So you just have to know that, even in the ancient times, okay. I always talk about good old Constantine, all right. Constantine, he had an agenda. He's like, whoa, I'm in charge here. And what's this Jesus movement? This looking real popular. I'll just integrate it, and I'll get it into the agenda that I want. And we could most certainly say, with the Council of Nicaea and others, there's, as I've talked about, it's always good to be a student of history, because when you look into history, and now we can, I mean, we could go and get access to books we couldn't. What about the Coburn Bible? Who's heard of the Coburn Bible? Raise your hand. Nobody. The Coburn Bible is real. And our beautiful Reverend Robin Richardson is an authority on this. This is stuff that was written from the perspective of Egypt, the Ancient of Days. And this is stuff that's relevant today. So it isn't like we're talking about things that are, oh, that's not applicable today. Wrong. Guess what? Because a lot of time history has a tendency to do what? Repeat itself over and over and over again. Let's talk about Atlantis. If you study Atlantis, okay, and see where they came up as a civilization, and to see where we are right now, completely parallel, completely. And so we had, as some of you may know, a divine directive to go to where? Arkansas. Like what? Arkansas. Yeah, Hot Springs, Arkansas. It has a massive amount of crystals. And there's a connection with the crystals that are there, with Atlantis, and where we are geographically, because it was a very huge place and they had colonies, right? But if you look at the trajectory there, we're very in line with the same thing. So this is the deal. Jesus the Christ said we were in the mixture. The mixture meaning we have a choice, okay? And that's how powerful we are, because we're powerful co-creators. We are built in the image. Now, as I said, what is the image? The image is not the little g gods, because there's a lot of those, the little g gods. Okay, so if you read, Gilgamesh, and you read the Ilana Elish, and you read these ancient books, I recommend everybody read it. Get educated and see different perspectives and the different agendas, because between them, you kind of get the real story. And then you'll be the one to be able to figure it out. Okay, and then you'll come into, and I always talk about, me, Gnosis, 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 and that is the Gnostics. Not only the Gnostics have talked about this, but for example, the Emerald Tablets. There's so much information that's out there now. It is worth it for you to do the study to figure out, because you will have a level of understanding in your higher discernment that's going to guide you and your family through these times. That's right. Ignorance is not bliss. And it is knowledge, not just faith, but knowledge that's going to set us free. And as you do your due diligence as you go and do your studying and start to inquire. And let me say something that's amazing that I'm experiencing. And I want to know if you guys are experiencing this too. So now, and I'm not sure, depending on which one of my friends and conspiracy theorists they're coming from, okay, there is, I can think something. So it's sort of like how Google works. You click something and you look at I don't know, a pair of shoes or something like that. Next thing you know, in your advertisements, you see nothing but shoes. Okay, so I get that. Okay, they can tell what it is, everything is being tracked. There is no privacy. So just for you to be aware, there is no privacy. Hey, and that's okay, because I think it will be good because everybody needs to know what the truth is anyway. Okay, so what do you have to hide? Okay, and then there's that. I saw the meme that was so funny. It was two little extraterrestrials, and the little one said, why are humans not telepathic? And the one said, because they have so much to hide, so it's really true. So I think it should all be transparent and it should all be out there. But the bottom line is that your discernment also is going to be preface upon your knowledge. We talk about meditation, okay, we talk about aligning, but also part of meditation, part of your spiritual path is also knowledge. Okay, so wisdom is experience and knowledge. Okay, that is what we need to do right now in these times, because as my mother used to say, all that glitters is not gold. Now, not just for our own discernment, but for example, here at the anchoring light, when we do our transmission meditation, we always align with the higher peace. We are the resonant field that is holding the higher peace to come into the planet. Okay, known as the Ozzy Shalom or the Shalometh Shalom, the peace that surpasses all human understanding, the higher peace to anchor into this planet. That's what we can do. Now, I think that light workers, okay, star seeds, wanderers have a skill set. Everybody has a skill set, but I would say that our skill set, when we wake up to the fact who we truly are and who we truly are, is from the highest of aeon, what the Gnostics call the paroma, which is beyond many little g gods, including the one that may have been the one that created this construct that we find ourselves in. Say, it's almost like the student going beyond the teacher or the student becoming aware, okay, of who they are. That's where we are right now. Okay, we really have to say, you know what, thank you. Of course, we get guidance and there's teachers, and everybody plays the role of teacher and student. We are teachers to each other and we're students to each other. But where we want to go is get that guidance from our higher self. We want to tap into the higher celestial realms of light, our true essence, to get that information, that guidance, work on that one. Now, what we can do in our skill set, what we could do is one, don't fall into fear, because that is the greatest manipulator that's been going on for time immemorial. Fear, 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 fear of death. But guess what? What if you wake up and say, wait a second, maybe the material world is the cage and the freedom is beyond this? Like, oh my gosh. Because Jesus said, I have come to conquer death. When you figure it out, but you got to figure it out for yourself. It's like a great mystery. It's like clue. You got to figure out all the little pieces. And then what will happen, I've experienced, and there's other people who experience, you are going to experience something that the Gnostics call Gnosis. It is truly an inner knowing. It's not intellectual at all. It's a whole different experience. And so real quick, I spoke to somebody, beautiful lady, also known as Lirlai, but known now as Faye Ara. She has traveled all around the sacred sites, as I have done in the past. We had a long discussion about this whole thing, and what it is that just like you go on this journey of, hey, let me hear this perspective, hey, I might be what propagandarized. I don't know if there's such a name, but I may be propagandarized myself. Okay, made me reflect. And gee, am I indoctrinated? Certain things that other people have to say. Did I come to that conclusion myself? Did I do the research to go down and say, where does this come from? And have I seen all the different perspectives of all the agendas out there? Some of them good, some of them not so good for me. All right. And then that's going to be your mission. And then as you start doing that, and the intention is what? The intention is to be a difference, a positive difference in this world, to lift up the frequency of this planet. You're very noble in your pursuit. What's going to happen? The universe is going to support you. The universe is absolutely going to support you. Now, what I was talking about before, we were talking about the Google thing, is that now I wonder, I have a question like, gee, I wonder, and it's just a thought in my mind about something. And when I go to YouTube, what I call YouTube University, the answer's right there. I don't know if this is happening to anybody else. You think of something, you're not even typing it in. You just think of something, and the answer comes immediately. Either through, for me, it's YouTube. I automatically know. I ask my question to go to YouTube, and that's the first thing that's going to come up. I'm going to see. But it could also come in other ways through social media or something that somebody says. But the answer now comes quickly, very quickly, without any effort. That's amazing. So I'm not sure how that works. All I'm telling you is that I understand from other people, they're experiencing the same thing. I know for sure that I am. I have a question. I want to understand something. Now, there is something to be said for AI and being able to access a lot of information much faster, okay, than we have been able to do. Okay. And then you go ahead and you kind of, check all of that as well, too. But we are able now, because of the age of Aquarius, is to access information that we were not able to access in the past and get it done like that. We can have an acceleration of Gnosis, our own inner knowing. And the more of us that can get to that level, the more of us can say, hey, I see it, I'm clear on that. We hold that vibration for each of us to come out of the false matrix. Like we're out and bringing everybody else with it. What is that doing? That's uplifting the frequency of the planet and all of her life. That's uplifting and triggering others to remember who they truly are, which is not this. It is so much more. And to no longer be bound by the fear of death when you really understand what it is, which Jesus the Christ came and other avatars of light is what they're talking about. It's like, oh my gosh, I got it. I understand it. And you know what that does? It gives you such peace. It gives you such peace. I don't care what's going on in the world. I know what's going on in the world, okay? What if you can be that person that anchors the peace wherever you go to help others? To help others. When you hold light, you can glance at a person, give a little smile, and that could be life-changing for that person. Or when you walk into a room of chaos, you can be that balanced presence that you don't become part of the chaos, you transmute the chaos and everybody in it. That's what Jesus the Christ did. That's what avatars of light did. Okay. And that's what we're asked to be able to do. So the more we can work in ourselves, okay, to be a better person than we were yesterday, to have more knowledge, understanding, wisdom, to tap into that gnosis now. Okay. The more we can do that, we contribute to the collective unconscious. And oh, you don't need a lot. You just need a couple of dedicated light workers that go and understand the higher understanding. And guess what? When you become awake while you're still in the body, that's the goal. Because when you cross over, you are wide awake, you know what the deal is, and you're heading home. That's it. With that, I'll say namaste, beautiful family of light. We will see you next time. Be sure to go to ccosl.com. You'll read all about the Cosmic Center, Spiritual Light, all of the amazing, amazing events that we have, which is also online too. And we do have our Facebook page, so go and check it all out. See you next time. Beautiful family of light on Facebook Live.